Hello everyone and welcome back to A Couple Books. This is Couple, as per usual. Today we're going to be doing yet another LitRPG game lit book review because I'm really into the books right now. The game lit and LitRPG books specifically. So, specifically we're going to be reviewing Steam Whistle Alley by Joshua Mason. This is a more game lit book, but it is all about augmented reality, steampunk, adventure, bad guys, and lots of money. So, I hope you guys are excited for today's review. Let us get into it. We're going to be starting off with a mostly spoiler-free book analysis, storyline, thingy-majiggy. Then moving into the things I did and did not like about it, and then we'll be summing it up with recommendations for those who should be reading it. So, with that, let us get started with today's review. This book, what is it about? We follow our main character, Jacob. Jacob lives in Seattle, a few years into the future, where they have hover cars, hover buses, those types of things. And he is a game tester. What is a game tester? Ooh, good question. I'm glad you asked it. So a game tester is somebody who basically tests games to find glitches. Think flying horses in Skyrim. Types glitches, okay? They find these glitches, they tell the developers, they fix the glitch, they release the game to the public to make millions. And he has just recently finished one of his projects where he was a game tester, a beta tester for a game. Now that he's unemployed, he's looking around what he should do. He ends up going to a coffee shop where his crush, Jenny, works. And he's chilling there, he's having his coffee, when he sees something out the window that intrigues him. He sees a man wearing goggles. Not glasses, goggles, okay? Like full goggles. And he's wearing goggles and he's slashing at something, okay? This is Seattle, so it's weird, okay? Seattle is weird. But this was like weirder than just normal Seattle weird. And Jacob's intrigued. What could this be about? Who is this man? And he ends up doing a little bit of sleuthing, you know, private detective, the game is afoot.
The game is afoot.
Type of thing, Sherlocking, and he ends up finding out that there's this man named Iggy. Iggy is in charge of a massive company that is building the next game. And by why I say the next game is because these are all capital letters. The next game. Like, this is going to be a huge thing. It's going to be the game. And what Iggy has done is Iggy has created an augmented reality game. Instead of virtual reality, this is augmented reality. If you're confused what that means, think about Pokemon Go.
With Pokemon Go, you never know what you're gonna find.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Where you got to catch Pokemon on your coffee tables, in your shower, on your toilet seat, out in the real world, and you had to stop and you had to pull off on the highway because there was a Pokemon you just had to catch right away. Those types of things, okay? And there is augmented reality in this book through the form of these goggles that Iggy has created. These goggles basically, once you put them on, turn Seattle, the entire city of Seattle, into a steampunk city with floating airships and monkeys and all the things you would typically see in a steampunk world. And he's created this game with, you know, the monsters, potions, all the things you would typically see in a video game. But it's all taking place in the city of Seattle, with the ambition to eventually make this a worldwide game. But it's not ready to be released just yet. Before Iggy's able to release it, he needs people like Jacob. He needs 300 beta testers to play the game in order to find all the potential problems with it before releasing it. And so he enticed Jacob with the man that we saw on the streets just moments before, and he is ready to sign on. But Iggy entices him even further, and he tells him that there's a quest for those 300 players. And what is this quest? Oh, a quest. We all like a good quest.
Where are you off to? Don't stop, I'm already late. Late for what? I'm going on an adventure.
The quest is going to determine the next owner of Steam Whistle Alley. Steam Whistle Alley is like this main area that Iggy has bought out in actual Seattle, and he's transformed it within the augmented reality into a market where there are real life, like real people, street vendors who are selling food. There are also in-game vendors who are selling weapons and potions and those types of things. And this alley is basically the core of the game. It's where everything's going to come through. It's basically the focus of the economy of this world. And this world, since it's taking place in part in real life and in part augmented reality, is going to produce a lot of money. And we're not just talking about in-game currency. We're talking about real life money, like buku bucks. And he basically says that whoever wins the quest, whoever of the 300 players wins the quest is going to become part owner of this Steam Whistle Alley, meaning that you're going to be getting a portion of the profits. And this isn't just like, oh, a nice little extra change on the side. This is like enough money to fill up your bathtub and swim in dollar bills. Okay, this is a lot of money. It's buku bucks. Like I said, buku bucks. This even further entices Jacob into joining on to the video game, and he says yes, and Iggy gives him a pair of goggles, or lets him order a pair of goggles, and Jacob enters the game and he starts playing it. He ends up finding out that he has a partner. I'll let you figure out who the partner is. It's really no surprise if you have read a few books. Him and his partner end up playing through this game. They make a few friends along the way, and they also meet a few enemies. Who are these enemies, you may be asking? These enemies are not just other players who are trying to win this deed. These are also other tech companies who are trying to take over the game and try and take it for themselves. There's also people out there who have the ambition of not so sportsmanlikely stealing or gaining the deed for themselves and their own selfish reasons so that they can make all the profit and they can change the game how they want it to be changed for their own selfish reasons. So there's a lot of bad guys in this as well as our good guys who are our main characters. And that's basically the basic premise. Man meets girl, girl and man get quest, girl and man try and win quest for themselves. And happily ever after, hopefully. Well, you don't know. You'll have to read the book to find out. Now, what did I actually love about this book? So I'm going to break it down into 3 parts. The first part is characterization. Jacob has actual motivations behind his reasoning. I really enjoyed that element about it. He actually has motivations stemming from things in his past, which you'll read about, that actually push him forward and make his decisions more logical and makes you understand where he's coming from. And I really enjoyed that in a character, and it really made the book flow because you're actually like, oh, I can sympathize with him. I can get where he's going with it. And I really enjoyed that characterization. The other characters in the game were also each unique and had distinct tastes to their dialogue and distinct tastes to how they acted and reacted to certain things. And it's always nice to see unique characters. I really do love that. While I say that, I also have to mention that the characterization wasn't like top-notch with all the characters. Some of the secondary characters, such as Trick and Alex, who you meet, feel a little less tangible, if that makes sense to you. But that's just my personal opinion. However, nonetheless, it really doesn't matter because after all, the main character shines like a bright beacon. Then from there, I have to talk about the atmosphere of this book. I think that that's an important characteristic that's often left out of a lot of books, especially fantasy books, where I feel like we kind of are already given through years of reading fantasy and years of watching movies like Lord of the Rings. We already know what to expect in fantasy, and we kind of can paint the picture ourselves. It's really nice to have a detailed description of the surroundings and really feel like you're immersed, and Joshua Mason does that. You really feel the steampunk energy flowing through the pages, and you really can see it in your mind, the steampunk. And I really love steampunk. It's an itch of mine that is not often scratched, and it really did scratch my itch indeed, and that really made it really enjoyable and really fun. And then the last thing I'd like to talk about is the actual mechanics of the game. So, in the LitRPG genre, you basically have 2 ways you can go. You can either have game lit, where it's much more narration focused, or you can have mechanics focused, where it's much more hardlined, like data sheets and level up points and dice rolls and all those types of things. This is much more on the gamelet side of things, but Joshua Mason really streamlined that and really brought it all together in a seamless manner. Our main character has a monkey. I love the monkey, okay? Banjo is an amazing character. And Banjo is this little tiny monkey that is a biosynth, meaning that it's part technology, part organic. And it is actually Jacob's monkey in real life, but they're able to incorporate it into the game world. And through the monkey known as Banjo, we are able to integrate a lot of the mechanics that we love in a LitRPG into the narrative and into the dialogue very seamlessly, and makes it feel almost effortless to understand what is going on game mechanics wise while the story is progressing. And I really love that choice by the author, and it really made me be able to really immerse myself, and I didn't feel any breaking points with the story. Instead of having long 3-4 page sheets of data that I had to read through, it was all placed within dialogue and really felt much more natural. Especially for those who are maybe more new to the LitRPG, it was really refreshing to see that after reading a few books that had more of the sheets. Not that it's good or bad either way. It just was a part of this book that I really enjoyed, and I thought I'd point out to you guys. With that, let me talk about who I think should be reading this book and why I think you should be picking it up. for someone who is maybe looking to get into lit RPG and hasn't really read much, maybe they've read Ready Player One and they're just like, oh, this sounds intriguing, let me get more into it. This is a really nice opening for someone who's looking to get into the genre. Why? Because it's more on the gamelet side of things. While there are the game mechanics involved, they're placed throughout the dialogue and they're streamlined in such a way that it wasn't overwhelming. And I feel that someone who's new to lit RPG and doesn't really know if they want those heavy game mechanics or not, this is a nice entry point for them as well. For someone who's maybe into steampunk like I am, this really scratched the itch quite nicely. It was fun. It was fun seeing the monsters that are half mechanical, half organic, the airships, all of it. It was really fun to see. I at least saw a lot of pop culture references, like the rabbit from Monty Python in there.
Coming right up. Look. Jesus.
I don't know if that was intentional or if I'm just seeing that, but I really enjoy that. So maybe if you're a pop culture fiend and you're looking for some pop culture references, I dare you to go into here and find all the ones that I saw, because I really enjoyed that. I always like seeing some pop culture in a book, and I thought Joshua Mason really effortlessly put those into the story where it didn't feel forced and it just was there, and it was just like a nice little nod and you're like, yeah, I see you. I see you. Outside of that, I think anyone who's looking for the steampunk itch, anyone who's maybe looking for more of an urban lit RPG, or for those of us who've read lit RPG, we've read the fantasy lit RPGs. This is much more of an urban setting in a city where it's like the world and it's much more technologically advanced. Of course, not as advanced as present day, but you know what I mean. And I feel like for those who are looking maybe for a fresher take and are kind of getting tired of the fantasy lit RPG, this might be what you're looking for, and this might just be the book that is ready to basically reset you so you're ready to take on more. So that's pretty much my review for you guys today. So I highly recommend those of you who are interested and were intrigued by the story to check it out. I think it is well worth it, and I'm really looking forward to the second book by Joshua Mason. Joshua Mason also has another series which will pop up on the screen. I'm also going to be checking out those because I really did enjoy his writing style. I really did enjoy the story. I really enjoyed how he integrated some real life into a lit RPG novel and really made logic a part of the story and really helped us as individuals, as readers, really comprehend the actions of their character choices. So with that, I'll leave you guys today. Don't forget to comment down below if you're going to pick it up or not, or if you've already read it, if you liked it. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe while you're down there if you feel like it. And I will be seeing you guys in the next video, which I do believe is going to be a Dresden Files book of video. So see you guys soon. Bye now.